listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
Let's do this.
The Energy is
Right.
Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The energy is
Ready.
love.
This is going to be like the first time that we've ever recorded.
Is it? Is it because it's a new space and we're
New
like, what do we
space,
do? The
new
table's
setup.
different. Like,
Look how much
can
closer
I
we
hold
are.
your hands the entire time?
Yeah, this will be so
Can I
cute.
look into your eyes?
I think people will
It's
like
going to be
it.
a love cast.
Love cast. So if it's not obvious, if you're only
We
listening,
do like each other.
if you're just listening and you're not watching, yeah, of course we like each other. That's obvious.
I
If
was
you
being
listen.
silly.
We're inside.
Mm-hmm.
Weather has finally turned enough to where we're not going to be able to record outdoors underneath our willow tree anymore. So we're inside, and we've got a new little setup that we're going to have to get used to.
I'm already used to it.
Oh, good. I'm glad you are.
I'm comfortable here. I spend a lot of time in this space.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I'm like pretty at home right here.
Good.
Like I'm
glad.
in that zone.
I'm very, very glad. Pick a card. We'll start off with picking a
Oh,
card.
I was like, shit. I thought we were going to do.
Ooh, you should.
Yeah.
We could do that one day.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Should I do that?
She pointed at her tarot cards. Is that how you refer to them? Or just
I
your
don't have
cards?
tarot cards.
That's right.
I have oracle cards. I have a lot of different oracle cards. I have never actually worked with tarot cards before. So I have
Just
oracle
'cause, or-
cards.
Is there a reason?
No, it just hasn't. But as you say that, I have that feeling in my stomach of like, and I saw a tarot card. And so that's weird.
What do you mean you saw a tarot card? Like just now?
Okay, now I feel stupid.
Don't feel stupid.
So maybe I feel like I need runes. I have rune oracle cards, but I feel like I need actual runes next, but it might be tarot cards.
Yeah.
Can I just have them both?
You,
Can I
of
have them
course.
both? Let's get them both. Okay.
Yeah, of course you can have both.
I think it's excitement. I thought I could have them both. So there's a place in Magna that I really like, and I get to pick the crystal, and she will design them for me.
The
Can I
cards?
no, the runes.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I got really excited, and but I didn't have the money for it at that time, so I walked out. And then the pandemic. See what would happen if I would have got those runes that day? If I would have picked out the crystal that I wanted,
Could have
wouldn't
saved us all.
I could have, but I didn't. And then the pandemic hit, and then I didn't go back because it was a pandemic.
Yeah. Way to go, Craig.
Oh, somebody didn't mute their phone.
Somebody didn't mute their phone.
Is that
And
just
we
confirmation that I was supposed to go back and the pandemic's my fault?
No, that was
that what
confirmation that we can't record a podcast without some dogs in the background.
So,
So-
yeah. So pick a card.
No, I'm being silly. You don't need to pick a card.
Oh,
You can.
I will. I want this one.
That'll be your card. Oh. Place it on top of the deck. I haven't
Okay.
seen it, folks. Did you put it on
I
top?
did.
Now we're going to
I
shuffle
forgot
it
to
in.
watch. They can see. It's recorded.
You forgot to watch what?
Where it went.
It went into the deck.
I know, but I was trying to like do that thing like with the cups and you follow it.
So tell the people
Tell the people.
what your card was. Tell them.
But you'll
Tell them.
hear it. It's a 7 of diamonds.
7 of diamonds.
Uh-huh.
Hold that up to the camera, and damn it, it's the king of clubs. But if Stephanie touches the deck, this is such good podcasting.
Oh,
If you touch the deck,
I touched
you
it.
magically bring the 10 of hearts to the top,
Oops.
and then the 7.
And then the 7. We're a little rusty.
Yeah, we're a
It was
little
so
rusty.
good. It was there.
No, it wasn't. It was
I know.
a terrible magic
It was.
trick.
It was a oops.
Yeah.
It was follow us for more magic tricks.
Go to my new YouTube channel.
I
Crow
am.
fucks up magic tricks.com.
I think I didn't touch it right. I almost touched it with my nipple and thought, no, my finger. So if I'd have put a nipple on it, maybe the 7 of diamonds would have shown up.
Let's do the trick over.
Okay, ready?
We'll start over from the beginning.
I'm going to turn it over here, though.
Oh my gosh. That would be so funny.
It's like, doot, there it is.
Do you feel comfortable up here?
I feel really comfortable up here.
I think this is going to work.
Yeah.
We have been trying to brainstorm as the weather changed on where we were going to record in our house.
Mhm.
And I think we've got it. I think the lighting's good.
Yeah, well.
I like the setup.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to like this new angle
Yeah?
at the table.
Okay. What about when we have a guest?
Yeah, I think it's going to work just fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I want to do some things with those windows on the sides.
Yeah.
And get some other coverage,
Yeah.
window coverings
I just barely figured them out because that's like the 50s style blinds because my grandparents had them in their house when they lived on the military base. That's standard issue. So I know how to work them. And it is like it's a skill to work those kind. And so I've got it down because I was trained for this, except for that one. I don't know what happened, but as I was doing the thing, it shot up like a rocket and then flew off the wall and landed on the ground. I was like, oops.
Yeah.
But I fixed it.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we just have to get rid of them.
I also know how to fix them when they come at you like a cannon.
We'll get some new stuff because eventually we will have some more guests on the podcast, and then we'll have to scoot the camera back and get different angles and stuff like that. But it works. A little bit I gotta do. It all works. Yep. So I'm happy.
Yeah. I like it up here.
And we're here.
I do so much stuff in this room. I'm good. Yeah, I like this room.
Good. I'm glad. Today's episode is going to be discussing a lot of really fun stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, today is Saturday
It's November 7th.
November 7th.
This isn't going to come out today, obviously.
Yeah.
It's going to come out later. But today is my Aunt Jacque's birthday. Happy birthday.
What kind of fucking language was that?
Are you going to make fun of me right now? Is that what you're going to do? Is that what I was trying to wish you a happy birthday and he made fun of me.
Happy birthday, Aunt Jackie. There you go.
I said it with enthusiasm.
You did say it with enthusiasm.
I said it with my heart.
But today's also the day that us people, locals here in the United States have discovered who our new president will be next year.
That's another birthday present from my Aunt Jackie.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're following our incredible clusterfuck of politics that's been taking place this year, it's been just a ginormous shit show from the get-go. Yep. And it's been a ginormous shit show for the last 4 years. We have not disappointed here at the end of Trump's reign over this country, and it's still been a shit show, even after the election, which was 5 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago. And today, finally, this morning.
I counted on my fingers.
4. No, election, it doesn't matter. November 3rd.
Today is the day.
Today is the day that they finally figured it out, and all the votes, or the majority of the votes, are in, and they are able to say that
Kamala.
Old man Biden.
I voted for Kamala.
Old man Joe is going to be taking over the country until he walks out onto the front lawn of the White House in his underwear, and we realize he's really senile.
We can celebrate our Madam President. I'm pretty freaking excited.
There's a chance. There's a really good chance that that'll happen.
I think it's going to happen. And you see this? This is
It's funny you keep wanting to look at the camera, huh?
I do. I want to show. I'm like, I'm happy. I'm so happy. I've been trying to not look at it because I didn't want to. What was going to happen was going to happen.
Folks,
so I put the good vibes. What?
She's been trying to not pay attention to the election results, not
Until
look at the camera. We just got done looking at the camera. I'm trying not to look at it. Yeah, no. So you've been not paying attention specifically because it's been a shit show.
Because the media is all over the place. Because you never know. It's all this. It's the crapshoot. So I just had my hope, my intention, and my vote, and I was waiting until it was like we have results because I didn't want to ride this sickening roller coaster of anxiety.
Yeah, I
was waiting, and then I saw that one thing. I'm like, is this real? Is it real? And you're like, it's real. I'm like, it's real. And then I was excited. I had to call my mom, and I was just really I almost cried. I'm so freaking happy.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I'm so freaking happy. I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it. Yes, thank you. More, please. I am so happy. I can feel it so deep in my stomach and what it means. And I told you that it means hope, that there's hope, that there's hope that this country really isn't going to be ran by hate, that there's hope for love. There's hope for people. It's hope for me. Yeah. And hope is a beautiful thing to have. I have hope. I have hope now.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you have hope.
And I want it. I can feel that. Like, it's almost like you're sad for me.
Me?
Like, yeah, you just like,
Why?
I'm so glad you have hope. It's like you're patting me on the head.
No,
like,
it's good.
I'm hopeful. I think change is going to happen.
Change is always good. I'm seeing
amazing. There's possibilities here. There's possibilities here. There's hope.
What's one of the very first things that you'd like to see happen?
I would like to see the very first thing happen is all the humans that are trapped in cages at the borders and the wall. I want that to stop.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing is let's reunite those families. And I think we owe them a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
So
That would be nice.
that's one of the first things. There's so much. That's a huge list, but I'm just like seeing like all those cages just opened. That's enough.
Yeah.
So I want that.
That would be cool. I watched recently John Oliver on HBO, right? John Oliver does a lot of really good work. And he had an entire episode on asylum.
Yeah.
And when people come to this country seeking asylum and what has happened in the last 4 years with President Trump and asylum seekers and how much of a nightmare that has been.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if some of that policy stuff can change and we can actually start allowing people that need asylum for actual legitimate reasons to come to this country and get it. Seek asylum here.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah. This should be a safe country to come to.
I'm hopeful. It should be.
So,
I mean, we've got some, I don't know what's going to happen because of the Supreme Justices.
the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that we have. I'm really nervous about that. And I know that I don't know what that means, but I'm still hopeful for change. I'm still hopeful for change. I'm still hopeful for human rights. I'm hopeful for human rights and not white rich men rights.
Yeah. You know, there's something Biden could do.
What could Biden do?
Just add more Supreme Court justices.
Can he do that?
Mhm. Yeah, there's nothing stopping him from, I shouldn't say there's nothing. Obviously, there'd be a shit show of shit trying to stop him, but there isn't anything in like our Constitution or anything that says this is the X number of Supreme Court justices that you are required to have or that we're supposed to have. And it's fluctuated over the years.
I did not know that.
So he could add.
I would like that.
He could just simply add some more justices. And then that way it balances.
At least there's a balance. Yeah, let's get a balance and let's get some love warriors on.
All of this for me has been about balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has been so starkly highlighting the significant imbalance that exists. And this election was really interesting too, I think. I have followed it since the dawn of time. No, but I've been paying attention to it and watching it and everything like that. And it's pretty damn close. Like, it's a pretty damn close election. That's why it's taken so long for all the votes to be counted and everything like that. And I mean, yes, it looks like Biden has won and all of that jazz, but it was close.
It was close.
And that just tells me that it's kind of an equally divided country to some extent. And if we look at it from that, perspective of, you know, this is actually the bigger thing that I want to talk about on the podcast. So it kind of just plays right into it.
Okay.
Segue.
Like the
Even though we're
the
definitely-
Raiders? Isn't those the
No.
segues?
No, those are segues, but that's not what we're talking about.
I know, it was a joke. I'm happy. I'm cracking some jokes. I'm bringing the humor in. This is a
glad.
good mood.
Yeah, that's good.
Have you heard a Segway horn before?
Is there a horn on a
There is
Segway?
little Oh, it's not the horn. It's a siren. I was making fun of
Paul Blart, Mall Cop.
actually real life Paul Blart, but not Mall Cop. It was, anyways. Just carry on.
So this joke has now completely taken us to a completely different place
I
that I
will-
can't remember where we
I
started.
was going to make
now.
fun of somebody and then I decided not to
Okay.
because it's not nice.
Well, we're a divided country if you look at it from that perspective.
Mhm.
But I also think that we're an equally balanced country if we look at it from a different
Yeah.
perspective. So we have left and right, good or bad, depending on how you want to look at it, red and blue.
It's like edges and middles, though.
Well,
They say left and right, but I think it's,
this was a big vote. A
It's
lot of
edge and
people came
middle.
out for it.
yeah.
And so it wasn't just the standard people that vote. I think a lot of people.
Holy shit. I hit it with my foot.
And now you're moving it with your
I'm
foot.
trying to put it back because I was eating the mic. I hit it and I was like, oops. I'm not used to it being over here.
No,
My left foot is usually the one that has to be careful. My right can,
swing away.
swing away.
That's from science.
It is from science.
We are squirrely.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we're equally divided. I think we're equally balanced. And I think
Yeah.
the problem is that people think we're divided and that it's like
Yeah.
two sides of the, aisle and everything like that. And I think that's a massive problem. So I would like to see balance come back, but it's going to take a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of,
I want to see love win. I want that. I want that.
Yeah. Love.
I want that pendulum on the side of love.
Well, it has to be balanced.
It does, but I want the pendulum on the side of love.
You can talk while I drink.
Can I? No, I'm gonna watch you.
Well, I have a tickle in my throat. So talk.
Talk. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's possibilities. Oh, stop it. Jesus. I'm excited. And I'm going to let this excitement ride. I'm going to feel it and I'm going to hope and I'm going to see what can come of it. Of all the people that are celebrating right now. And I'm just going to focus there. I'm just going to focus on the celebration and I'm going to focus on the positive and the people that aren't happy. I hope that love fills their hearts too. I'm hopeful for love. I can be optimistic.
I think love is in their hearts.
Well,
I think they just think that their version of love is different than ours.
that's true.
And vice versa, right?
Well, I think love means love, not hate. I don't think when you're showing hate and claiming it's love, I don't that's misinformation right there. So.
It's so hard for me to not just dive into devil's advocate stuff right now with you and just talk about
Let
stuff.
me be in a
negative.
good mood.
No, it's good. I'm happy.
Today's a good
I'm
day.
happy. Obviously, you and I voted for
I'm
Biden.
gonna start. I voted for Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Who happened to have Biden on her ticket.
there is such a good chance that she's going to be president one day.
Do you see this joy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I think it's a very, very likely situation in the near future where we have our first female president in this country.
Madam President.
Yeah. And it's about time.
Oh yeah.
Well overdue.
We're gonna be playing Ice Cube all day today. Today was a good day.
We're
Just
gonna
that
be
one
playing
song.
Ice Cube?
Today was a good day.
Is that an Ice Cube song?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Don't play it.
Oh,
We can't play it.
really?
Yeah.
We have no rights to the music. Can I play it now?
No. That's how you get pulled from YouTube.
Even though you say you have no rights to the music?
Yeah, you can't. It's still copyrighted trademark music. Like it's not ours.
Okay. Well, I wasn't claiming it as ours.
Yeah.
It's Ice Cube's.
Ice
I'm pretty
Cubes.
sure. I only know like one line out of that whole song, but
What is it?
today was a good day.
I don't even
Today
know
was
the fucking song.
I didn't
so-
even. Okay. Anyways, it's
So-
a happy song. Today's a good day. It's about being positive.
Yes, today is a good
Noticing
day.
all the things going right in the world.
I want to talk about the divide, not just in this country, but in the world in regards to good and evil. I want to talk about positive and negative, love and hate, dark and it is hard. It is hot up here.
Is what?
I said it's hot up here.
That's not what you said.
What did I say?
It
What did it sound like?
sounded like you said it is hard. Like,
It's hard up here.
it's a good day.
Because we talked about this on the previous episode not too long ago, and the whole dynamic of how our structured society is set up, and it's not even just society and culture, it's a like literal mindset of there are always two sides to every coin. There's always, but it's only two. Like we're only
There's
allowing
only-
for two.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
We're only allowing for either love or hate,
Mhm.
positive or negative, dark or light. It's just always two. It's such a binary mindset from as far back as we can look at, right? As
Mhm.
far back as you can go. You have God and the devil. You have good and evil. You have all of these
Right
things,
and wrong.
right and wrong, yin and yang,
Mhm.
night and day. Why the fuck?
Dusk and dawn.
Why do we only have two?
I don't know.
What's your take on that, Stephanie? And go.
What's my fuck? Control. I don't know. Control.
But I don't think it's
I don't know.
man-made.
You don't think it's man-made? You're
No.
right. Wait, you said what's my take on it? So,
Go ahead.
talking or not talking? Speaking or listening?
I'm
What
listening.
Are you? That was talking. What are you doing? That's you.
Recognizing that we're not going to be able to rub our feet on the floor with mic stands. But that's okay.
What are we going to do?
We're fucking, this is over.
That's it. It's been a nice run, peeps.
Last episode of the podcast.
Don't put that out there. Pod.
What do you think is the reason for that? There has to be a reason for
What
it.
do I think is? I don't know.
And maybe there
let me
doesn't
think.
have
Let me
to
see
be,
if I
but-
can come up with something that feels.
Because
I
it's
think
so
it's
ingrained.
safety. I think it's somehow you can find safety in
Okay.
it. A cause. If you're fighting for good, then fighting makes sense. If there's two options, then at least you know where you stand on one. It's justification on behaviors I don't know. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's not. I don't know what the cause is. Maybe division, conformity, love. I don't know. There's so many different ways to look at it, but there's still the ways that I'm coming up with seem to still be
one or the other.
Yeah. So I don't know how to speak to that at this moment. I think that's something I would have to ponder, which I'm thinking you have.
I kind of have. I kind of have been, but first off, do you believe that there are more options than just two?
Yes.
Okay. So let's try to keep this as simple as possible rather than get all over the place and all over the map with it. Okay.
Headache or no headache?
I think there is some structured reasoning behind our Earth and our planet and this dimension and this existence.
Okay.
That is set up in such a way that it is one or the other. It's just two options. And I think it serves a purpose.
But our planet is...
Well, think about our planet.
That's right. We don't really think it's flat. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, you're right. It's an octagon.
Hashtag octagon.
I think there's a reason for it. I don't know what the reason is. I just have all these random speculations. But if we think about not just our planet or this universe or any of these type of things, but if we think about just this experience. So if we think about all the other multiple dimensions that exist, all the other experiences that exist, all the other worlds, all the other people, all the other versions of you and me, all the other things that spin around elsewhere.
Okay.
I think this one specifically is set up and designed to have two, to have a positive and a negative, to have a light and dark. And I think there are going to be other dimensions elsewhere and other universes and other places and other planets and other yous and me's and everything like that aren't limited to just two.
Okay.
So I think there's a very specific lesson or a very specific, not even definitely not a lesson. That doesn't sound right. But I think there's a very specific reason why there is this dynamic of the polarity and the binary of just two.
Is it because we're supposed to evolve out of that belief?
I think so. I think that's part of it because I think it's very limiting.
It is very limiting.
Right now, we have the big thing that it's not that big, but it's been a big thing over the last few years, where people are starting to expand outside of the concept and idea of just two genders.
What do you mean it's not that big?
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a big deal currently in culture, meaning you're hearing about it all the time everywhere. And even though it's still a big deal but obviously we have something else taking up a lot of space in our culture right now, at least in this country.
Yeah.
But
now there might be a little bit of room for everybody. I'm pretty fucking excited.
I'm so happy you're
pretty excited. I am full of hope.
Yes. I'm so glad.
And I want to spread that hope as much as I can. And I want to kumbaya the fuck out of this. I want to join hands and spread hope and love and allow space for all and allow space for more. You're leading into it. Fits into what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not just right or wrong. Let's expand.
Yeah.
Let's allow love.
And hate. And
that's love.
Late. That's the blending of love and hate.
What about hove?
And
hove you.
But the whole thing in my head is I think we have to evolve from the binary and from the two. And I think that is what's currently taking place in society. And you see the struggle of, because the people, we'll just use gender as an example.
It's such a conflict. So it can burst into more.
And so the people that are no, there's really just two genders. And then there's these people on the other side that are no, there's really countless genders and how people want to identify and how they want to, all of these options.
I don't know if it's how they want to identify. It's how people identify.
Yeah. However we want to verbalize it. But because there's a part of me that is very much I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what name or pronoun or label you want to create for yourself. There's still just two options. So that's a part of myself that is stuck in the past.
Okay.
And then I have another part of me that is by all means, feel free to create whatever it is that you want to create in the world. Whatever you want to
be, whatever it is.
Be whatever you want to be. All of these type of things, right? so in my own internal struggle and evolution, I'm separating, like I have the separation of these two opposing beliefs and these two opposing forces. And that in my own internal like struggle and thought process and evolution is something that has been going on for the last 4 or 5, 6 years.
Okay.
Where I have been separating from old patterns and old beliefs and old ways of looking at things and expanding into the new way of looking at things where possibilities are not just endless, but options, and everything has suddenly become this vast, beautiful, expansive place that I feel is real.
You've definitely been expanding your thoughts in your mind, shifting so many of your thought processes.
Yeah.
You are a different person.
And so for me, that's the evolution process.
That's beautiful.
And then how do we allow for that evolution process to take place on the big scope of the universe and of people and of this planet and of society and of the mindset, so that we can no longer be limited by two options, good or bad, love or hate, red or blue, black or white. You know, how do we allow that to take place?
I allow it.
And we're done.
You're welcome. I think that's the answer. I allow it. I think it's a choice for each individual person. I allow it. Do you allow it? I think we as a whole allow it.
I allow
each
it.
person right there. So there's shift that's made.
How do we, I just want to expedite it.
Oh, me too.
Like I want to speed up that process. Sorry.
It's okay. I know that up here it's not important for you to turn your phone off.
How do we help people recognize it though? Like think about breaking it down. Because
Okay.
right now everybody is thinking about things as two options, right? We either had Biden or we had Trump, or we had red or we had blue, Democrat, Republican, we had love, we had hate.
Good,
Everybody sees
evil.
it from the
And
side of
everybody's-
the aisle that they're on.
And they
Right.
see it the exact opposite. Everybody is mirroring everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are some things that we could pull out and help people recognize that that is a limited, not just mindset, but system that has been in place for, generations and generations and generations. And the allowance of more options is how we move forward and create the world that we all really want. Because I don't believe that people that voted for Donald Trump are evil. I don't believe that people that...
I believe some of them were.
Yes, of course, but there's also horribly evil people that voted for Biden.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that everybody has what they believe is important in their hearts.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to go towards.
Should we just listen?
Listening helps,
Yeah.
but I want to do something proactively in a sense of expanding so that people recognize that it is the binary, that just the two options that is the problem, I think.
Yeah.
I think that is the limiting problem here. The fact that we have boiled everything down to just these two options. And it maybe made sense at some point in time. It maybe made sense.
Maybe it didn't. Maybe it never made sense. It's just easily bought into.
Well, if you think about it just strictly from all these concepts and ideas that you and I always talk about on the podcast that are like these big, huge, whatever thoughts and processes and things like that, I always try to simplify and take back to like when man was evolving from monkeys.
Okay.
And how they apply to the fight, flight, or freeze response, and how they apply to just strictly survival.
Okay.
And so if we're looking at it just strictly from the survival standpoint.
Monkeys also were into pleasure, so. Go ahead, stay focused with me.
But if we're looking at it just
You
strictly,
kicked
I
my
did kick
mic.
your microphone.
That wasn't me.
So strictly from the standpoint of survival and only survival,
Okay.
the binary, just the two options makes sense because
Yes.
we don't then have to figure out anything else besides this or that.
Life or death.
Right?
Okay.
That makes sense.
I can see that.
And life or death is really, I think, the beginning of it. Are you getting a message?
Yes, I am. Hold on. Hold on.
If you're just listening, she's holding her
Yes,
ear.
Ted. Hold on.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Did this just in? I just got like a zing, a pain in my ear, and it was just like, okay,
Maybe I hit upon it.
maybe you did,
Maybe we figured it out.
or
It's
it's
life
allergies.
or death.
So it's life. I think people behave life or death.
I think it is life or death. I think
That's what
that
it
is the
feels like.
purpose behind this. And I think that's why it was originally kind of instilled in us,
So how do we stop being so afraid of death when it's inevitable?
right?
And maybe things are less life and death when we accept death and allow cycles.
Yeah.
That's not where you're going at all.
No.
That's what I thought of.
Life or death is
I need a drink.
Take a drink.
When we podcast in the morning, we can't drink beer. This is just water, folks. It's not my 2 beers.
Yeah, because that's what we need right now. We actually do need some beer today.
Not for podcasting. You don't know what time it is.
Hold on, I'm fucking extrapolating a very good thought in my head.
I'm sorry.
That makes a lot of sense.
Fucking squirrely.
Miss Happy Pants.
I'm really happy.
If we go back to survival, everything would be about life or death. Everything would be about how do we survive so that we don't die, and how do we propagate and continue so that future generations can live. So it is very much, I think, stemming from life or death back in the day.
Yeah.
And then it is just...
I focused on that majority of my life. Everything was life or death.
Well, it's just how... It's the lens that we look at the world through.
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at, like, if that was the beginning of how we see everything, then we're just going to recreate that in everything.
I can picture that with every choice.
Right?
Like, even, like, do this so you can live. Do this so your life is easier. Do this so you can live longer. If you don't do this, you're going to die. If you do this, you might die. It seems like every decision you make, whether or not you go to the grocery store that day, is a life or death decision. That's an anxiety state. Keep going. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's very much, for me at least, this might not be making sense to anybody else, but it's really solidifying in my head the way that it makes sense and the way that I think is the reason for its existence, the reason behind why we have this simplified one or the other look and viewpoint of the world. And I think it is stemming from that life or death. So then I fast forward to the future in the conversation that we're having now on how can we change that? And then it's like, okay, we have to figure out a way to help people believe, because it's not just think, it's a belief, I think, that has to instill inside people that death is not the end.
Death is not the end.
And so then if we can separate from believing that death is the end, because...
I don't even think it's that.
Okay, what do you think it is?
I think it's just, I mean, it might be. Like, death is not the end, but you have that, like, that's what the conformity of religion teaches you in good or bad, like good versus evil, is that if you're good, you'll go to heaven and death isn't the end. So they even, like, I think it's joy. I think there's no room for joy or happiness or pleasure.
Well, religion does teach that death is not the end, that we go on after death.
If you are good.
Yeah.
You either have eternal bliss or eternal torture.
So, but still two, right?
Still two.
Still two options. But it does extend past death.
And then it's like, are you gonna suffer? Oh God, I feel like I'm getting off track. This is a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the polarity of it. It's like, are you gonna suffer for a short amount of time and not be happy and do all the right things and strive to survive so you can be eternally happy? Or are you going to go ahead and live a happy life and be expansive upon more than the binaries, but be an eternal hell, damnation, torture?
Do you think when we die, I know that we don't know per se, right?
Do I think there's a heaven and hell? Is
No,
that
no,
what you're
no,
thinking?
not at all. Do you think that we continue? Our essence, our spirit,
Yeah.
our energy, our soul continues afterwards?
I believe it does.
Okay, so you believe it.
I believe it does. Doesn't mean I'm not afraid of dying.
Do you believe that soul then propagates into a new existence where there is still just the binary? Because if we look at it from this physical form that we're in now, we're in this binary, one or the other. And then, like you said, ascend to heaven or ascend to hell or descend to hell. Maybe hell's up there too. But you're leaving this.
I think we're looking at it flopped.
You're looking at this plane and going to another plane where it's still just one or the other. I mean, that is literally what religion has been in one way, shape, or form over the course of history teached.
Do I believe that? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Do I believe that when we transition, that it's still the
binary?
No, I don't.
So there's more, right?
I think so.
So there's
I
options.
believe so.
There's choices.
I believe so.
There's space to grow and do whatever you choose. Perhaps.
I think it's, yeah.
So if we can
I
bring
believe.
that belief of endless options or opportunities or possibilities, endless possibilities, we'll say, after we leave this physical body, then how can we incorporate that belief into the present moment here?
I don't.
Because you and I are
Sorry.
still stuck in the binary
We
in a lot of
are,
ways.
but I don't think that's what needs to happen. I think that's the same fight that everybody's having is what's really going to happen when you die. That's the same old fight. I think we need to stop thinking about what happens when we die and get people in their bodies and enjoying life now. I don't think it matters what people believe happens after.
But I think if we think about it from this perspective of why is the binary here and how do we get away from the binary? So if the binary is here because of life and death, then we have to make peace with death.
Yeah,
And recognize that it's not the end
I agree.
before we can move past the binary.
Yeah, but I think you're still in the same fight. I think it's still trying to convince people what they should believe after they die. And we have a belief. I think it's still shoving our beliefs down somebody else. Like, we don't know. That's what I believe. I don't know. I don't need somebody else to believe what I believe so they can be free. That's what everybody's doing. That's the same fight. I don't want to do that. I just disagree.
That's fine.
That's okay. I just disagree.
You're fine to disagree with me.
Thank you for the permission.
You get
Thank you for the expansion.
3 more disagreements this episode.
I'm going to
and
smack
then
your Star Wars cards.
You'll have to save them for next week.
Oh, Queen of Hearts. I think that means I win.
I'm
Queen of
trying
Hearts.
to figure out what we could do.
I think we just.
Because it feels so much like we're stuck. I mean, as a whole, right? Not just you and I,
Okay.
but as a whole. It feels like the world is stuck in this good or bad.
Okay.
Everybody thinks they're on the side of good,
Mm-hmm.
and they view the opposite side.
That's true. Everybody
bad.
does think they're on the side of good.
So the
no,
people,
that's not true.
It is true. If
Lots
we
of
take,
people think they're bad.
okay, we'll just fucking take Hitler.
Okay.
Okay, Hitler thought he was doing good, based off
Okay.
of what he believed.
So yeah.
We don't need to go into it and argue.
Okay.
It's just a simple. If we can just agree that that is what he believed he was
Yes.
doing, right?
We can say that, yes.
Right. The rest of the world thought he was a fucking lunatic. Okay, but he believed
I agree with
he
the
was
rest of the
doing
world.
good.
Yes.
So everybody is always acting from the place of belief that they're doing good, and that the thing that's opposite them is bad.
I also disagree.
Give me an example.
Okay, I
Can't
think
use Hitler.
I
Gotta use another one.
I don't believe that people are always acting out of what they believe is good. I think people are either acting. Here's another binary, another duality here. I think people are either acting out of love or they're acting out of fear.
Okay.
And so I think people will make really bad decisions and know they're bad decisions when they're scared. So I think I don't know that he was acting out of love. For him, like, obviously his actions were not love. Do not misinterpret that. I don't know that his mindset, his fucking whatever, was he thought he was bringing, it could have been fear. It could have been straight hate, but does that stem from fear? Like, I feel like, I guess I also can't wrap my head around thinking that since we're using Hitler or Trump as an example here, that they're acting out of love. I feel like they are acting out of hate, out of control, out of greed, but stemming from fear. I don't feel like they're like, this is a good choice. This is coming from my heart. There's no way, because there's that feeling inside. You can't do those things. I don't believe that you can do those things and feel like that's a good thing and feel like this is an act of love. No, it's fucking not. You know it's not. I don't believe that.
So
I think it's fear and hate is what they're acting out of, and I think those are.
I think
fear stems the hate, so I think it's love or fear.
I think you're right. I think love or fear, and I think that's another way. I think there's another way. I mean, I think that's just another way of saying good or bad, or black or white. It's just a binary. And I think when people operate out of fear and they do terrible things, it's because they're doing it to protect what they love.
I believe that.
So in their mind, they're still acting out of love.
I can see that.
Right.
But I also see hate.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It matters, but it's literally, we're just playing out the good and bad here. We're having a conversation about the binary. I want to expand outside of that and figure out how we separate from that.
what like,
Because
I feel
everybody
like
is
that's
operating out of a place where they think they're right.
where they think they're right, or where they think they're making the best decision out of their only options.
Correct.
Yes.
And so it's either right or wrong, good or bad. Once again, it's still just split down the middle,
Lesser of two evils
right?
decisions.
This decision is a really hard decision, but I'm going to make it because of all these things that I believe I'm protecting,
I agree.
right?
Except for Hitler.
He's just on the other side. That's all.
Yeah.
So why on earth are we still sitting here thinking that the other side is wrong? Because they are doing the exact same thing on their side, thinking that the other side is wrong. So it's just this back and forth mirroring effect, like you said earlier, when we're literally all standing next to each other, looking in the mirror, saying the exact same thing. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're
I
wrong.
can give you some examples why the other side is wrong.
I know, baby.
I'll map that out for you.
But if we were to ask those other people, they would say the exact same thing about us.
Yes, but their reasons are not loving all. Their reasons are fear and greed and hate.
But those reasons
You
of
can't
fear and greed
torture
and hate,
people and say it's love.
baby,
You can baby me all you want. You cannot torture people and say this is love. No.
they are making the decision. So we'll use immigration. 'Cause
Okay.
people in cages.
That's a big fucking deal.
It is a big fucking deal. Okay. So Trump is implementing or has implemented.
Bye. You're fired.
He's implemented programs, mandates. He's implemented this structure of doing that because from his perspective and his mindset, illegal immigrants coming into this country are a bad thing.
Then why does he keep marrying him and bringing him in?
Okay. So once again, it's where people are coming from.
Greed. It's hate.
Correct.
That's it.
There's all those ways to look at it.
It's not love.
And from the other side, they look at us as ignorant and small-minded.
How can I open my mind?
From the binary.
How can I open
So
my
no
mind?
longer good and bad, love and hate.
How can I see those actions as a loving action?
I'm not asking you to see his actions as a loving action.
What the fuck are you asking me?
To give more
Sorry.
options
Give more options.
so that we
I
can
did. Fear.
so that we can stop this dynamic of
Okay.
only two.
Okay.
That's the whole thing.
It's people are fear of lack. If this goes to this person, I'm going to go without. My family's going to go without. I don't want that. So I don't know these people. Therefore, I'm not attached to their pain or their suffrage in any way. Therefore, it doesn't matter to me. So I'm willing to discount and discredit and throw away them and let them take all the pain so that me and my family cannot hurt. As opposed to if I share what I have, then I have a team. Then I have a community. Now we're all looking out for each other. I think if we share what we love and what we have with others that don't, I think we can build each other. I don't think we go without. I think we have more.
Okay.
So I don't see. You don't even believe what you're trying to get me to see.
Because I'm trying to see it.
Okay.
I'm trying to look past it.
Okay.
I'm very much stuck in this space as well. And there's a part of me that is trying to evolve out of it.
Okay. So why are we?
'Cause you're
if we've
literally,
evolved
you just
out of
brought-
it, then why are we trying to regress back in? Why don't we just hold the vibration higher and
You
allow
literally-
people to rise?
You just described rich and poor. I mean, that's what you were talking about. You're like people that it's greed, it's money. The rich want to keep getting richer so that they have control.
Okay, rich, poor. I'm food, education, health,
Just
doctors,
all binary,
all of it.
all two
It
options.
is. So it is. I think it comes down to money, no money.
It's all two options.
Okay.
I don't think it's money or no money. I think you hit it earlier. I think it's life and death.
And I'm not making it two options. My description isn't making it two options. My description is taking here and here, which are the two, and finding that middle ground, giving more options. I'm literally describing out of the binary, and you're like, no, no, no. And I did that.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'll wait for you to catch up. You can rise to my vibration.
The problem we're having right now between the two of us
You're
is
having? I'm fine.
the problem I'm having right now is I'm trying to get you to understand what's going on in my head. when I don't really understand what's going on in my head.
You need me to say it your way.
I don't think I need you to see it my way. I think I'm trying to
this is
figure
the
out.
clip you can get. I'm going,
I think I'm trying to figure out what my way is.
yeah.
I
You're
like what you said about life or death. And I think that is the impetus for this binary mindset from the beginning of time. I think once we had conscious awareness as we evolved and we suddenly became aware of the world, I think whether that was when we were still monkeys or not, it doesn't matter. But at any given point when we suddenly recognized
survival instincts.
Right.
We still have, so yeah.
where that is the beginning of two options. And then we have just recreated that over and 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 over again throughout all history and time.
Yeah.
Because that is what we know, and that is how we stay safe, if we only have two options. And because of that, I think we have to figure out a way to expand not just our own, me and you, like Craig and Steph, mindset outside of those two options. But I think we have to figure out a way to get the whole entire collective consciousness of the fucking planet and people to separate from just the two. And so if we think about death, we'll go back to death now. When we die, there's more. Okay. Religion teaches. We believe. Religion teaches us that when we die, we go to another binary option.
Yes.
Good or evil, heaven or hell.
Yeah.
That isn't working. That's repeating the same once again.
But
hold on.
This is a theory.
Hold on.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that's literally the same thing of just taking the original belief that we have structured our world around and recreating it over and over and over and over again. So death, and then we recreate binary. So it's not expansion at all. Religion isn't the answer to this problem.
Why are we trying to figure it out? We're gonna figure it out when we die.
Fucking fix the shit.
But you want an answer. You want a reason. You want a hardcore. You want a label. What if the other options are not trying to label it and just allowing for the space?
That's fine. I want a way to fix this fucking place so that we can stop this fucking nonsense. Because it's really, 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 really asinine and destructive and hurting people.
If we turn into preachers, nobody's going to listen. Okay. That's not going to fix it.
Well,
you're coming at it with that. You've got to come at it with
you got to let me finish my fucking thought.
Okay. I will allow it.
My solution that I'm getting to is this place of figuring out how to get people to believe that there's more after death and that it doesn't just repeat in a binary way. And if people can start to believe that and have experiences that show them that, existence of more outside of death, then they'll come back to this place and expand. Because you can't have an experience and then come back and continue to perpetuate the same cycle. You can, but over time, eventually, that's how the evolution process starts. Yes, no, are you with me?
What if, because you like the devil's advocate so much, what if that is what confines people in the space? What if people believe there is nothing after death?
There's a lot of people that believe that.
Which allows them then the freedom to allow for everything on this planet, to allow for all the non-binary things, because there's not a end goal. Because the end is just the end. So what if actually believing in expansion on the after is what's limiting everybody, as to where if they take that out of the equation, they can fully live?
I don't agree, because it's still
devil's advocate here. You like that so much.
It's still the two. So we'll take an atheist.
How is it still the two?
We'll take somebody that doesn't believe that there's life after death in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
And they have this existence and then death. Only two.
Oh, no. Okay,
I have I'm alive, and then I have I'm dead. Only two. Okay.
But now I don't have a goal.
Okay.
So I get to.
This thought is going to fight with all of its might to come out, so that it can be expressed. Okay. And you can devil's advocate all that you want.
Is it frustrating?
I'm going to stab you with a toothpick.
I feel like that's not an act of love.
This makes so much sense to me in my head.
Okay.
Is trying to get people to experience things that show them that there is more. And once they've experienced enough things that show them that there's more, then we can start to separate from this only two option ship.
Okay.
So in my mind,
But you're getting them, it's either there's more or there's not. So you're literally fighting for a binary that you're trying to oppose.
okay. I see the point that you're making.
I agree with you.
Hold on, shut your mouth. I'm trying to process through my brain hole. I'm seeing the dynamic of I'm trying to get them to have two options, either stay small-minded or expand and believe that there's more.
No binary there.
Okay, there is binary in that aspect. But once they believe that there's more, then we separate from the binary and everything becomes possibilities of endlessness.
Possibilities of endlessness. That's nice.
Okay. Now, if we can get people to have experiences where they can see possibilities outside of the binary,
Okay.
then I think that will slowly shift the mindset and the culture and society so that we can separate from love and hate, good and bad, to opposing forces fighting. So my thought
Okay.
right now, one of the really beneficial things in this country was a lot of states voted the legalization of some drugs. Some places voted for marijuana to be legalized, and Oregon specifically voted for psilocybin mushrooms to be legalized, like recreational use of psilocybin mushrooms. I think those drugs, and we can stop calling them drugs at some point, but those...
Plant medicine?
I don't like that either.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Just those substances, those things that people can consume, have a tendency to open up people's minds and give them experiences that make them question the binary. You have experiences where you recognize that maybe time and existence isn't what you thought it was, that maybe there is something else outside of this dimension or this belief or this system. And more people having those experiences, I think, are going to help expand the dynamic of just this two binary thing. Because eventually you have enough of those experiences, or you have a big enough, profound enough, or a profound experience where you no longer fear your own death, because you recognize that there's more after that fact and the possibilities become endless. So I think it's not to say that everybody needs to take mushrooms, although I think that would be a very, very much different world than we're living in today, and it would probably be a very much more loving, open world. But I think we have to recreate some of those experiences that you can have on mushrooms in a variety of ways, shapes, and forms for people to experience, so that their minds can be opened up past just this good and bad binary. Okay. Thank you for finally letting me get that out.
I was helping you flesh it out.
You were helping me immensely flesh it
Yeah.
out. You really were. Because I've thought about this a lot. This topic has been something that's on my podcast list, and it's like, why the fuck are we stuck in this space? Because it feels like we're stuck, right? This entire year, with everything that's gone on, with COVID, with this election, with Trump as president, everything has been so one or the other. It's been so good and bad. And it feels like, it's like the gear box is locked up and nothing is moving, and everything is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter under pressure until something breaks. And that's, like
This country broke.
this country has broke over and over again. And it's not even just our country.
Broke, I guess. It was
right?
just always broke.
Like that tension that builds up when we stay stuck in these polar opposites of good and bad and right and wrong and evil and all this kind of stuff creates so much tension. And it's like, fuck that. Let's just all separate from that tension and from that belief and from that mindset and start to expand outwards and think of the endless possibilities that exist, not just with political parties, not just with how you want to identify as, what you believe your gender is, or your sexuality, or your religious belief. None of it fucking matters. The possibilities are endless, and we get to create a world and an existence and a planet where people can have all of these things, and we no longer have to be limited to just two.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I think religion is, I guess I was going to say, I think religion is the major problem. But that's either religion or not. But I'm not talking about not believing in a higher power, not believing in energy, not believing in flow, not believing in purpose. I'm talking about believing in some, man in the sky, whatever, believing in there's this one righteousness that you have to follow or you'll be damned. I think that's...
I don't think religion's the problem. I think the core issue is the binary, is just the two options. The core issue is just the belief in life and death.
The core issue is life and death.
And religion is just one other thing that we recreated that life or death binary option.
Control.
As an example.
Which ensured those that were in control's life, which brings back to life and death.
So we know from all of our experiences as adults that we...
Don't dismiss me.
I'm not dismissing you, but we know that we just recreate our past. We just recreate our childhood. We just recreate experiences over and over and over again based off of what we've seen and what we've experienced. So from the very beginning of time, when the first fucking frog crawled out and realized the frog next to him just got smushed or eaten and he's dead and he's gone. Now life becomes about life and death. And so we just recreate that two-optioned existence over and over and over and over and over again, like I said. Yeah. So the religion isn't the problem. Trump isn't the problem. Democrats, Republicans aren't the problem. It's the belief system that there's only life and death, that there's only two options that exist to us. And if we can separate from that belief system and recognize that the possibilities become vast once you separate from the two options, then we can slowly start to shift and open up all options for everybody.
I agree. I just don't think the only way to get there is people believing what's going to happen when they die. I just think there's another way to get there. I believe, and I agree with you. I just don't think that that's the only way that this is achievable. I think there's other ways.
Do you have another example?
I gave it to you.
I wasn't listening.
Oh, wow.
No, what's an example?
Getting into your body. Getting to your body, get into the moment, getting into joy, being able to feel that. Maybe it's the belief of nothing after. So it's not an end goal. I just think I think whatever works for that person to break free and experience and get out of their own duality is the right way to do it. And I think you found what works for you. And I think you found what, you're going to, or not you found, but you will relate with many people, myself included, on the freedom in that and the possibilities and how that works. And I think that there are other people that have found that. And I think there's a good chunk of people that have not and aren't even willing to entertain the thought. And I think that's also okay.
Yeah.
It's not my choice. I want the freedom. I'm telling you, I've got hope. I believe in love. I think we can all expand. I think this can be a possibility if we get out of the duality. But I know that forcing, if you could just see it my way, is the same rhetoric.
Yeah, I'm not looking to force anybody, right? That it's not like suddenly we're going to start putting psilocybin in the water supply, which would be fucking awesome. But
I think you can do that by going for a hike in the mountains. I don't think you have to have psilocybin.
Yeah, you don't have to have
I am pro
some
it.
substance.
I am absolutely pro it.
But what I'm saying is, I think for me, it really is as simple as life or death. We have to, and however you come to your own conclusions that there's more besides life and death, like right now, there's more than life or death. Right now, you and I are existing on multiple levels and in different dimensions and on alternate planes. So life is not limited by just you and I in this tactile place in this physical world talking on this podcast right now.
I agree, but I still have fear.
Yeah.
Even though I agree with you and I see the same things as you do, I still have fear. So therefore, that might not be the answer.
So even though you and I believe that there's more with life, we didn't have to fucking chainsaw motherfuckers.
It's not so loud in here. Keep going.
We didn't have to struggle with the death part of it.
Okay.
To expand the possibilities. But at the end of the day, it's still a matter of life and death. So we're expanding what life means, and we're also expanding what death means, so that there is no longer just those two options to us. And however you choose to do it, whether you want to expand in life, like you said, love and joy and happiness and letting everything become more and more and more,
Yeah.
that's expanding outside of just life
Yes.
being a singular thing. Or if you want to expand into the space of death just being a singular thing, either one is going to give us a split from this binary option.
Okay.
So it's the expansion of possibilities that exist outside of life and death that I think expands everybody on this planet and in this dimension currently stuck in the binary. It expands us outside of that, and we can start to really fucking experience some utopian types,
Endless
beautiful worlds,
possibilities.
endless possibilities, where it's no longer Trump or Biden or love or hate or good or bad. No borders, no, keeping people in cages, because there's literally nothing different between this side and that side of the border. I mean, all these things can just suddenly wash away because we have gotten rid of the binary that stems from life or death.
I like that.
Thank you. Thank you for liking it. Thank you for being patient with me. And thank you for not getting upset with me as
I'm in my space.
Told you
How
to
do you like
shut
being
up.
in my space?
I like your space
Do you?
so much. Very, very much.
I'm pretty comfortable in it, huh?
Very, very
I'm like,
big.
poke the bear, poke the bear, poke
Yeah,
the
keep
bear.
poking the bear. I'm going to stab you with
You're
a
getting
toothpick.
frustrated
again.
over there.
It's because I had this thought in my head that was like, I could feel the belief forming,
Yeah.
and I could feel it taking shape, and it needed to continue to grow. And then you'd be like, what about this? What about this? Just let it expand.
Are you
and
blaming
grow.
me for your, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna stand.
Devil's advocate's fucking frustrating.
It is so
I
frustrating.
hate it.
It is so
Yeah.
frustrating. It's so
I'm
fun,
gonna
though.
do it more.
Isn't it fun to play the devil's advocate?
Oh, is it fun? I'm not gonna answer that.
This episode was brought to you by Built Bar. No, this one's brought to you by, I don't know who the fuck.
I think you just need to go with Built Bar now.
Built Bar.
Yeah,
Maybe Love Good Fats.
maybe both. You said you weren't gonna do both.
Maybe go to ENERGYISLOVEPodcast.com and click on sponsors and pick
Pick which one.
which one you'd like. But yes, either one, you can enter Energy is Love at checkout and save some cash. And
You're welcome.
you're very welcome. Congratulations.
You just gave them
Future.
2 fucking choices.
We have a third.
It's in the works.
If you go to the sponsors tab, there's a third choice. God damn it. Fucking binary. And congratulations, future Madam President Harris. I love you.
I love you.